Right, so hi everybody. Well, thanks for joining me on this panel on the Italian market, the sleeping giant apparently. All Italians on the panel today, so it will be an interesting conversation. So I'm Barbara Pastori, I'm Director of Strategy and Data and Prohibition Partners, so I look after, let's say, the reports, consulting, market intelligence bit of the company. And I'm here with some very knowledgeable people on the market. So Viola, do you want to introduce yourself briefly? Or
Hello everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Tommaso Martella from Verona, Italy. I'm a little introduction. I'm a manager of a medical facility in Verona, Italy. We're also a laboratory. And now I just opened my startup for medical cannabis. Precisely what we're looking for in this first moment is to continue a great job, educational job that in Italy it's many years that is bring on by Viola, that we know. And then to own and manage pharmacies that are an essential spot to provide the treatment for patient. And so with Revmed, this is now our focusing, implementing educational, with also the collaboration of international colleagues of that we in joint venture that we are creating, and also to develop a pharmacist system that can guarantee continuous on therapies for the patient, and so on. So I'm bringing my experience in the medical sector that I acquired in several years in being director of medical facilities and laboratory, to help to find a path that suits for Italian bureaucracy and Italian model. So thank you everybody to have me here today. Is a great honor.
Viola.
Hi, my name is Viola Brugnatelli. Thank you for being here at the Sleeping Giant panel. Probably digesting and sleeping yourself. We're going to try not to rant too much. I'm a neuropharmacologist, so my background is in researching cannabinoid receptors. And when you stay in a lab, it all looks great. And then you step out of the lab and you realize that in your country there is a medical law, but there are no doctors prescribing it, and you see that there is a problem. So then a few years ago, I went back into education. I teach at University of Padua. We started in 2017 a master course on cannabinology. I believe it's the first one in Europe, actually, at a university level. Then we started to push to actually have 4 medical students going through their compulsory education, having cannabinology and the endocannabinoid system explained and taught. And to do that more effectively, I also started like a private company 4 years ago. We now expanded onto Switzerland because it's the right moment for Switzerland, as laws are changing. And many other countries are also needing this model of having healthcare professionals trained to be able to bridge the gap between patient needs, where the science is, and where the healthcare professionals are. So basically my job now is mainly these. So thank you for having me here, and we're going to try to say something not too boring for the rest of the panel.
I'm sure you'll not be boring, as ever. Carlo.
Yes, good evening everybody. I'm Carlo Privitera, I'm a doctor. I started to study medical cannabis in 2014. In 2016 I founded my company Progetto Medicum. In 2020, we launched a new brand, is CAMIT, Cannabis Medica Italia, and now we managed around 5,000 medical cannabis patients with a teleassistance system, and we have patients in all Italy. And we start to study not only the market about the patient, around the patient, but also how to manage this market basically based on the clinical field of the patient. So we start to do this kind of research in Italy with our patient, and we hope we can make a good joint venture with other Italian partner for instruction, for clinics, and for everything manage interest the patient and the medical cannabis patient.
Thank you very much. So yeah, Italy, the sleeping giant, is actually one of the oldest cannabis markets in Europe, the second one to allow prescription for patients. 2013 is also the second one now in terms of size. Prohibition partners expect 31 million, more or less, of market sizing for medical cannabis in 2022. But the growth has been actually much slower than other countries like Germany and the UK. So I wanted to ask, like, maybe to Viola, what's the situation for patients now? How easy it is to access medical cannabis?
Well, if they go to Dr. Carlo, pretty easy, right? No, I mean, first of all, I'd like to say something. Italy is one country with regions, and although it's not a federal country, our health ministry, our Ministry of Health works in a federal way. So each region is completely different one to another. So the access for a patient, depending if it's from Sicily or from Northeast in Verona, is completely different. So then I think we need to look at more specifics. So it really depends where they are. Theoretically, on a theoretical point of view, of the law side, it's pretty accessible. I mean, we have two main ways of access for a patient. Any doctor can prescribe medical cannabis privately, okay, for any condition where there is at least a single study out there. And that would be a private prescription, so the patient pays for its own medicine. Then we have a reimbursed way for just a few conditions, and there is where the issue starts, because then each region has completely different laws on not only the pathologies that are reimbursed, but even the methods used for extracts. Like, we are going that crazy. So then the other issue, I think, in terms of access for a patient is really when he goes to the pharmacy finally with this prescription, is what does he find? Theoretically, for our state, you should find at least 10, 11 different products. But we are in a state of scarcity of cannabis from a few years now, since the beginning, really. So then it's really a matter of what can I find? And very often there is this important triangle between the patient, the medical doctor, and the pharmacist. There is a vital figure in our country, because note that the majority of our products, they are not already compounded. We get cannabis as a pharmaceutical ingredient, and then it's compounded by a galenic pharmacist. So it's really vital that the medical doctor then gets in touch with the pharmacist to understand what type of products he has, what type of variety, and if there is, for example, there was a massive lack now of, ridiculously, CBD, even though Italy produces a lot of hemp, but we didn't have pharmaceutical grade CBD for quite a while. So there was like all these ways that the pharmacists kind of need to find to compound something to try and substitute what's missing, basically. And it's pretty, I think it's pretty harsh. I mean, even the INCB, as you know, annually they're checking theoretically how much cannabis should be around for the medical patients in Italy. And yearly we go around 1,000, if not more, kilos less circulating. So it's pretty dramatic, the situation.
Thank you, Viola. So I guess, Carlo and Tommaso, I mean, many issues have been mentioned here, like we have reimbursement issues, supply, number of pharmacies, also the doctors that are willing or not willing to prescribe. What is your view? What are the main issues? What do you perceive is really like holding back the market from the patient side, let's say?
Can I go first?
Yeah, sure.
You are most beautiful.
Okay, in my personal opinion, importation is the must for Italy now. open up to importation to guarantee a flow of product at the pharmacies for the patient, because nowadays a patient can go to the pharmacy with a recipe, and the recipe it could expire while the product is coming to Italy nowadays we have all Holland is the only one main importers for Italy with 900 kilos of supplying. Then in 2001 and 2002 we also opened a tender with Canada, but just for 200 kilos, and we guarantee another 200 kilos from Canada for year 2022, but that is not enough to fill a market that is growing, because number of patients is growing in Italy right now. Also numbers of doctors, but the educational program is very important, because transfer the right knowledge regarding medical cannabis is not that easy, especially in a country like Italy, where we have a strong heritage, where we need to understand, have a full comprehension about the Italian market and about Italians, because it's part of a really essential part of the plan if we want continue to invest in medical cannabis and let this business growing and growing for all the stakeholders that we have. So in my opinion, importation right now is the key. Is the key for Italy. So we need to, our Ministry of Health, our institution, they needed to see, because we understood that Italy is not very comfort about import from country extra UE. So we need to find another European partner that can supply Italy with another 900 kilos, 800 kilos every year. That's what we need right now to open up the market, to help the patient to have a continuous on the therapy. So in my personal opinion, importation is the focus right now in Italy. We have a technical table on. Between the end of July and the beginning of September, we will know something about it, about the decision that they're going to make about opening up about importation. We are here, cross finger, hoping that they can do the most wise choice for Italy, for Italian patients, Italian doctors.
Thanks. Carlo.
Sorry, can I just, sorry.
Of course.
I partly really agree with you, and it's important that we allow our patients to have therapeutic continuity. But don't you find a bit ridiculous that a country that has a lot of sun is now getting cannabis just from the Netherlands and Denmark and Canada? I mean, seriously, I think importation is really important, but we need to allow licensing in our country. Sorry.
No, you're right, Viola. I agree with you. I'm not saying that we need to forget about our own cultivation. Of course, I'm Italian, like, so I agree with you. But in my opinion, if you want to take a shortcut to fill the gap that right now is filling, because a country like Germany is since 2016 that they are investing very heavily in production, in cultivation. Italy, everything is blocked. We don't have a huge investment in that direction. So, in a view of taking care of the patient, and because other ways, like even all the great educational work that you spread all around Italy lose its effect. Because there's no progress. People that are getting tired, they don't want to go to pharmacy anymore, and they're looking for something else. So I'm not saying have our own cultivation is not available anymore, or it's utopic. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that importation for me is the key to open up and give to Dr. Carlo the possibility to have his patient happy about the therapy, and then of course open up about varieties. Like Germany, they have 100 varieties for flower, more than 100 for extract. We have, as you said before, 2, 3, 4. That's not enough.
Yeah.
We are Italian panel. We have to discuss even if we say the same thing.
It's very, very Italian.
If I can say something about everything is right, but the really lacking in the Italian system is the Italian system, and this lacking start from the educational in the university and arrive to the fact that the doctors doesn't know what means to be a doctor, and the pharmacists too, and I hope medical cannabis could be the milestone to let the Italian medical school go ahead, reconsidering the pathophysiological aspect of the illness before the evidence-based medicine. Because if you don't know what evidence you are taking and you are seeing, you can imagine the result. So medical cannabis and this giant, the Italian giant, I hope, and we are working for this, will represent, I think, an important know-how producing state, because our way to intend the clinic of the patient, repeat, is on the evidence-based medicine, of course, like in all the Western world, but we have the Italian mentality that is pathophysiological. It means that I want to understand every step in the pathology. I don't want to see a number that can allow me to give or not a medicine. And the medical cannabis and a new research model that we can build around medical cannabis patient, I think will represent a great differential field for Italian market. Not only quantity, but I think the Made in Italy will be present even in this market.
Thank you, Carlo. There's actually some interesting data that has been obtained by Fabrizio Dentini recently. Apparently last year, 2021, the military only produced 102 kilos of medical cannabis. That's less than 10% of the total cannabis sold, which was about 1 ton, 1.2 tons. And in the last 60 days, 11 of 25 municipality monitors experienced shortages. So that's like kind of striking information of the situation at the moment. So I think like you guys spoke about the opening up of the market, and actually, I mean, the solutions are we either increase domestic production, we increase the tenders, which have been challenging over time. I remember the first Aurora ones. Now we have like Bedrock and Aurora, like recent addiction, Little Green Farm, and a new interesting product on extract side now, EMAC and Pharma Lab are involved. Yeah, exactly. So actually, Viola, like with the products actually, I think there are about 10 in the market at the moment. Is this an issue, and of course all the rest of the panel, is this an issue or the fact that the market is actually magistral, so there is an element of like kind of compounding, laboratory, does that help or no?
I think the issue is that of masking a monopoly under the fake pretense of, capitalist liberal market, but we have a monopoly. I disagree with tenders. Tenders are from our Ministry of Defense. We are the only country in Europe that is producing a medicine with the army. And the last tender we had was, for example, just allowing varieties that are registered at the CREA-CIN, which is an internal agriculture. I mean, it always kind of goes back to the same usual. This is not trying to create a functional medicine for people. This is trying to feed the same usual ones. And that's a very, very sad Italian model. So no, actually, I mean, I work with pharmacists. They do those, for my company, they've been the early adopters because, sorry, don't listen to this, but they are a bit more scientists than medical doctors usually, okay?
So
they were
I
the
need
first
you
ones.
for
Yeah,
this.
yeah, exactly. Then the medical doctors and the veterinarians were the second, let's say, group of people we started to train. And when we started with pharmacists. They love their job. Italian pharmacists and German pharmacists are amongst the few pharmacists that still actually do their original job. So they have beautiful laboratories and they can do, you know, from a suppository to the specific tincture. I mean, when we talk about cannabis, we're talking about personalized medicine. What there is more personalized than getting, you know, a perfect prescription from your medical doctor that can be delivered to a pharmacist that can just make exactly your medicine made for you. So no, I don't think Hellenic is really the issue. I think it's this monopoly the issue. So it's more on the regulatory side. And I mean, it's nice now we also have, a pharma lab or extract that is, it doesn't require any job other than dilution from the pharmacist. Is this changing dramatically the situation in Italy? Not really, you know?
Yes, the fact is that it's not the transformation is not a problem because the pharmacists have to analyze all the extract. So we have really more knowledge in the exact parameters. So our pharmacists are really good. Few pharmacists, few doctors, in a health system that is already a terminal patient. The health system can't give the service for the answer because some number in Italy, 15 million of people with pain, chronic pain, 2.5 million of people with multiple sclerosis, 3 million of people with cancer, 10 million of people with the stress-related disorder. So the problem is not the law, because in Italy we have the best, sorry, I'm Italian, we have the best constitutional law about health, because it says that everybody are equal, has the same rights, and so the regional law has to be attached for this, because the constitutional law says that in Veneto or in Sicily we are equal. We have the same right. So now we have this knowledge, the ethical knowledge that lead a part of doctor, pharmacist, lawyer, and other technical to support the patient. And the solution will be to start again. Nothing else, I think.
Thank you. We just have 2 minutes left. I just wanted to maybe talk briefly about what the private sector is doing, because there are private clinics popping up in the country, etc. So I think it's important that things are moving, and not only, you know, government is stopping, but there are ways around. Like, what is your view on, like, the kind of course you guys are involved, what, the movements on the private sector?
I mean, in my opinion, in Italy we must create one voice that can, because as Viola explained perfectly before, like the region and the bureaucracy inside the region right now, it's a wall. It's a wall for medical cannabis. So nowadays in Italy there's not a power that can fight with good effect, with intent, and open up a dialogue with the Ministry of Health. We have it, of course, but it's too soft. The decision that they're making, they just they think, okay, we made an example because my English is so slow. So we take a decision, okay. Table technical, we saw this opportunity. What the Italians are doing right now, okay, we agree, everybody, regarding the law, regarding the path that we need to follow, and then we decide to use the choice we made, just the 0.something%. So we don't use the full potential of our decision. This is the big problem for me in Italy right now. We have the ideas, we know how to use it, we have the law, that, as Carlo explained, we have the constitutional law, but the bureaucracy of the region is now are affecting in a very bad way medical cannabis. So I think we needed to create a unique voice that can go above region and create a union of intent, of delivery, of all aspects. So I think we need to work, unit all the stakeholders. So doctors, universities, medical clinics. We need all to stay together, to speak together, to have the same vision. And I'm positive that if we continue to hold on this point, we can see the sleeping giant wake up someday.
A new system. It's easy.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this panel. It was an absolute pleasure. And yeah, I'll just leave the stage for you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very much.